What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 17 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Arkhan the Black campaign. So as we saw last time, Arkhan and King Sanakt went together to Death Gorge and destroyed it with barely any losses, mainly because we had the power of summoning from Arkhan and the power of Skullstorm, repeatedly destroying the enemy bloodletters from Esfir, our Lich Priest of Nehekara. It really did work out quite nicely for him, and certainly seems like now a reason to actually level up that particular spell. And granted, it's not our main priority, as we do have other things that we probably want to choose right now, but it'll certainly be something we'll be looking to use in the future. Also, yeah, we're definitely going to want to prioritize replenish troops here, as we do heal up rather slow, but we can heal up other ways, hopefully, later on. I do imagine that we should have some research and other stuff that'll increase the healing capacities and not be so reliant on the Lich Priest. But for now, needs must. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, we are going to head out to Floating Village to hopefully destroy the Exiles of Khorne for good via Arkhan moving there, and maybe trade the Floating Village to the Bloody Hands for relationship and possibly for some other kind of agreement. We unfortunately did lose Galbaraz last time as it got attacked by a sudden Orky army from nowhere, so we're going to have to move King Sanakt to Agrul Migdal and then back up northward to try to deal with this. We'll see whether we can manage to catch the enemy before they can do anything. As in anything else. Arkhan, you're gonna head out. You are already pretty much at full HP, but let's put you into Entomb Beneath the Sands, and we'll hit the Floating Village next turnish. I wonder if this will be worth sacking or not. We'll check next turn, I suppose. Alrighty, and this place, you will need public order, but I guess for now we should keep the funerary districts, and though we will delete them afterwards. And we definitely need walls here at Gorgazan, and pretty much everywhere here, as this will be our northern border, at least for a while. King Jock, you're gonna get ready to attack Mr. Sevener Firehand here, and that'll be the first thing we do after we do a little bit of admin, just to spread it out a little bit. Alright, Jock is good. King Araru, you need to deal with this nonsense. So you're, I guess, going to go into March Stance and go here. You, King Rakash, are going to do this and go here. Good. And Araru, you're going to get your Lich Priest. We got another wise one, and that's the one we'll pick, at least for now. And just consider this to be a temporary priest until we find a better one, and that's of the probably Nehekara variety for the Ushabti army. And you can have, I guess, replenish troops. You can have Spirit Leech, Life Leech, 3 points into Canopic Jars, and out of these spells, probably going to have to go with Soul Blight for the area of effect and debuffs. But it'll probably be Spirit Leech that you're using. Alrighty, and you can join the army next turn, assuming that these guys don't attack. I'm actually curious to see what exactly they'll do, because their army isn't all that strong, and they're suffering attrition as well. Once we have this thing that provides a garrison, we won't need to defend the Great Desert of Araby like this anymore. Although I guess it was good that we kept Araru here last time at El Kalabad. We were going to attack Sudenburg with them. Let's just hope that these guys don't now declare war on us and hit El Kalabad while Araru's not there. Alright, Hetakor is good. Jock, you're about to attack Arkhan. You have levels. I guess we'll give you your own level, just in case. And what are we gonna put that in? We could start building Arkhan out to be a little bit of a stronger fighter himself. We did want to get ceremonial bandages on him though, because he does need the missile resistance. Yeah, you know what? For a single point, 15% missile resistance is quite good. Now we can start moving in towards Resurrect. The rest of you, we can hold off on the points because they don't matter all that much. And what else do we have to do this turn? Let's just try to figure this out. Ooh, yes, diplomacy. And there were a few things that we wanted to do last time. First of all, yes. Moussillon, you want a non-aggression pact. Although our friends in the Barrow Legion don't like that, why would we care?
To stand before me and ask,
You know what, let's do it. Who cares?
Swallow
It's free money. We need money for everything. We'll do non-aggression. We don't care that they're fighting. Let them fight. We have such great relationship with the Vamps in general that it matters not. You, Blue Vipers, we can ignore as there's no purpose to being friendly with you. But this... And this may be something we can take advantage of. So Celestial Loyalists are friends with the Northern Provinces. We also want to be friends with the Northern Provinces. So let's say we joined war against the Dimmed Sun... Okay, that didn't work. What about the Blessed Dread? Yes, they'll do it for the Blessed Dread. Now, we were probably wanting to ally with a few of these factions. As in the Dark Elf factions, but at the same time we probably want to ally with the Cathayan factions, because, well, artillery. Yeah, let's do this nonetheless. We'll ignore the Dimmed Suns for now, but I guess we'll be allying with the Cathayans against the Blessed Dread. Hopefully the other Dark Elves won't hear about it, or won't care. Alright, the rest of that is good. We don't care about the military access right now. Harganeth. We are going to ignore you for now. Maybe it's time to also get the military alliance upgraded. Yeah, alright, I'm just thinking, the Dread Fleet's already in so many wars, I don't see them going into a new one, at least not right now. Maybe they will in the near future, but we can probably drag them into enough wars so that they will be too afraid to get into any new ones, which is, I guess, a benefit. That's probably how we should judge our military alliances, or our possibilities of military alliances. Who's in enough wars that they won't get into another one? Because we're already in defensive alliances, don't really have to change. How much would you give us? You'd give us 2.2k. We do need to continue funding pyramids. And Barrow Legion. You're also quite in trouble. How much money would you give us? Also about 2k. I am tempted. These factions are also very weak, so they're unlikely to do these war things. Blackstone, wait, who are you fighting here? Musion, Marienburg, Kurun, Reichland. You're already at war with everybody around you, with the exception of the Wood Elves. But you're not going to be the one that declares war. They're probably going to declare war on you. 2k and 2k. You know what, I think we should still probably hold off for now. Drakenhof Conclave are kind of problematic in that they might just straight up declare war on the last defenders, and we don't need to deal with them right now. One other thing I think that we should do, however, well, first of all, we'll get this quest. Oh, right, we wanted to use this to keep an eye on this guy, Augak. Hopefully we can catch him. Alright, let's accept this mission for Augak, I guess. And Sylvania also has a quest. Ooh, hello. Let's go for this guy. Hopefully we can kill him as well. And Pirates of Sartosa, now you have a quest. Also Augak. There we go, not so bad. Alrighty, now, the last thing that I wanted to do Diplo-wise was to declare war again on these guys, on the Bleakholds, but by trading it with the Cult of Pleasure. We pieced out with the Bleakholds before, and these guys are still at war with them, and yes, they will give us another 2k. Alright, 2k all over the place, beautiful. All this free money. Well, not so much free, but all this money. We do need it for reasons. And this will enable us to upgrade various things, namely, we do want the Desert Lookout here, at the Tower of Bone at Kofar. Phyrus is going to need defenses as well. All of these places are very liable to get attacked because they're coastal provinces. And I don't really see that changing. Al-Haik, you probably need this less, but for now we'll keep it in here. We'll probably just replace it with a bunch of military structures, but that'll be some time from now. Alrighty, so at least this place is looking pretty good now. We can either build up the Royal Barracks to increase our Tomb Guard capacity for 1.8k, although it'll take 5 turns, then just delete it later and replace it with spices. I mean, you know what, we need capacity more than anything else right now, so yeah, fine, do it. And now we can go back to Worship of Asaph, because obviously control is quite the problem. Next up, the Cracked Land, Black Tower of Arkhan, time for you to get an upgrade. And Xandri, we probably should upgrade the Tower of Bone here as well. We do want that pyramid, but it's probably going to be some time until we can get it. Well, let's make sure that the Tower of Bone is finished before that. Technically, we also need the defenses at El Kalabad, but we need to upgrade El Kalabad first. Alrighty, and that's basically all the cash that we had remaining, at least for now. You then can switch back to Worship of Asaph again. And then Khemri, you're also ready for an upgrade. Ooh, no, you know what? Maybe we prioritize Khemri rather than the Xandri defenses. Granted, we'll still need the Xandri defenses, but I'd rather Khemri upgrade faster. There is a... oh, we can't upgrade the gold mine anymore, but nonetheless. And there's good reason to do this. There's also another pyramid available at Khemri as well. And we're not going to bother changing Worship of Tra, mostly because we need King Jokt to be able to move out. Alrighty, and I believe that's it. Unless I'm mistaken. We could actually leave construction cost reduction so that we could upgrade the Tower of Bone next turn at Xandri. Yeah, you know what? One more turn probably won't change things too negatively. Let's do that. And now I do believe it's time to finally attack. We should also select our next thing, our next research, and that is going to be you. Lamizasha, the 4th Dynasty. We're nearly ready to get Ushabti with great bows on the field. Not in crazy numbers, but certainly in some numbers. And you're the Ushabti Lord, so let's get that. And on top of that, you buff Embedded Lords and Heroes and Tomb Guard with the technologies you unlock, which is pretty darn decent as well. There's nothing else that we really need right now, or at least nothing that we can pay for. Otherwise, I'd get the Proclamation of the 2nd Dynasty for the growth, if nothing else. And what do you give us via your proclamation? Nothing that important, to be perfectly honest. But that's fine. And none of these guys offer any extra control, right? I just want to double check. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Alright, that's fine. Alright, Jokt, it's time for you to go again, my friend. You're going to go into Corrupted Dynasty stance. You personally don't have much in the way of items, but that's probably because, well, we don't have much in the way of items that we could give you. I guess we could give you the Sword of Might. It's better than nothing. And let's see. Anything else? A Berserker's Sword? Well, no. Man, we have no items. Alrighty. Time to go. Pyrrhic victory, eh? Alright, well they do have quite a lot of range that we will have to deal with as best we can. On the bright side, this means less of a melee line, so that we won't have to be as worried about that and should be able to get around the enemy. We do have to be very, very concerned about the grudge throwers ripping apart our melee lines, but we'll try to make do. Alrighty, here we go. I have a feeling that King Jokt will have killed quite a lot of dwarves by the time the campaign is over. He's already on his 2nd full stack and is going to continue protecting this area after all. Now we're fighting in this neat little crate location. I don't remember fighting in this place previously, and I kind of like it. Everything is nice and visible, and we fight in the middle of this crater, so yeah, this should also work out fairly well for us, as our dire doggos are going to move around the lip of the crater and then crest the hill back down towards the grudge throwers and hopefully knock them out before they can do too much damage. They are starting to do damage, however. One of our skeleton spears is nearing to half HP, and our corpse cart with balefire is also being targeted by the enemy bolt thrower. That said, our Lord and our White King are moving through, and hopefully we can breach the enemy line and silence those grudge throwers. Alrighty, gonna get a little bit of a heal on our own unit by the Nair's Incantation, plus 40% physical resistance. And of course, the reason for that was also to activate the healing from the Lore of Nehekara. Looks like our lords are moving in, and there we go, going to charge directly through those grudge bearers and start working away at the enemy grudge throwers. Of course, the enemy will react to that, so these guys are going to get surrounded quite quickly, but every extra couple seconds will mean an extra little bit of damage on those enemies, and extra time for our fast movers to get around. We also have our main line moving up, it's nearly there, and the enemy just doesn't have a big enough melee line to hold us this time. Our bats being targeted by all the ranged units who have turned around and decided to shoot them instead of our melee, which may also not be the brightest move. Granted, our bats are the fragile ones, much more fragile than the melee units, but nonetheless, this way the melee will destroy you, ranged units. And yeah, it looks like most of their melee is now concentrated in the center of their formation, trying to protect those grudge throwers, which is also not going to end so well. Anyway, the bats have dropped down here on the blasting charges, and also here on the blasting charges, just to prevent them from letting those charges fly into our melee. And of course, our dire doggos are moving in and going after the fragile ranged units as well. As soon as the melee gets here, we can get the bats out, as they will no longer be needed to hold back the blasting charges. And it looks like the dire doggos are going to cause these poor grudge throwers, or these regular thunderers. No, they are grudge rakers, rather. They're going to cause these guys to rout. Lovely. Alrighty, and finally our melee is moving in. Our Lord and our White King are quite trapped, fighting together, though they do tower over the dwarfs here. A little bit concerning about our Lord. The White King, obviously, we don't care as much about, but it does look like the enemy Rune Lord is going after our Lord, so we will need to try to bail them out. And bail them out we shall by trying to fire into them with our zombie pirate gunnery mob with hand cannons here. And then these guys are moving up to try to get into a better position to fire on them from the other side as well. On the bright side, it looks like the melee and the fast movers have pretty much overwhelmed the enemy ranged lines already, and the enemy ranged lines will fire no longer. So now it's just a matter of defeating the enemy with attrition and by continuing to surround them with our higher numbers of melee units. There we go, the hand cannons firing into the sides of the enemy blob here, knocking out a few of our own skeletons. And frankly, this little hill here probably isn't helping matters all that much. Yeah, a lot of shots sailing overhead. Oh, maybe they're trying to fire on the unit that's escaping? No, that's fine. I gotta remember next time to move them just a little bit closer. And it's okay, we got more melee units moving in, one blessed with the Cursed Blades of Joff in order to apply bleed to the enemy. And we gotta get our lords out of there. Let's see, our main lord is down to below half HP, though he has routed the enemy rune lord on the bright side. Alrighty, and other than that, this is actually going fairly well. The enemy has way too many ranged units. And there we go, a legionary barrage gonna move through this, and we're gonna hopefully use it to try to clear a path. Our lord trying to get through, but he just doesn't have the mass. You really need him on his Kemrian War Sphinx in order to do this sort of thing. Yeah, really gotta get all of our lords to level 14. It'll power them all up considerably. There we go, more of our melee moving in, and more of the enemy melee moving out as they've given up. This also means, unfortunately, that our hand cannons are probably not going to get too much more use, as the enemy is just embroiled in a fight with our own melee. Otherwise, the balance of power is about 90% in our favor. The enemy lord getting chased down by our Lich Priest and some Dire Doggos, while we work on those last remaining units that have not yet routed. We're also going to get some heals as the Realm of Souls activates. And so far have not lost the unit. Man, these guys' color scheme really is very bright orange, isn't it? Alrighty, not much to say. The last holdouts of this little pile of dwarfs in the middle of a bunch of skeleton spears, as well as the corpse guard here. And then on the same side, on the other side, the same thing going on with our Nehekara warriors and the last remaining enemy dwarf warriors. Now we got our hand cannons firing into these guys back as well, a little bit closer in range this time. And it looks like with that, the last remaining enemy units are out, and the battle is ours. Not too bad, looks like about 200 losses, though a few units are still dropping, probably due to friendly fire from our hand cannons, but yeah. Very nice, everybody. The enemy lord will go down, and we're gonna try to do a thing. We're gonna kill every single enemy unit except one. We're gonna let this one go. We're gonna let them escape to tell the tale. But actually, the plan is, if we allow this one unit to escape, it will survive, which means we can move after it, and if we have enough movement range, that is, we can maybe, if we can reach it, and get another free 50 canopic jars, because usually the first battle gives you enough gold for it to be worth it to take the gold via Endless March, but if we allow one unit to survive, that unit won't be worth it, and then hopefully we can kill it and get those canopic jars, because we really need our 500. Alright, let's hope that the allowing the one unit of dwarf warriors to escape does pay off. Honestly, I feel like we did better than I thought we would. I think this is a good demonstration of why the AI isn't particularly great at making good use of ranged units, and this is why the difficulty buffs them so hard for the AI in particular. Honestly, if the entire enemy army was miners with blasting charges, like 19 miners with blasting charges, rather than what we ran into, despite being like a third of the cost of this army, it would have been a lot scarier. We could heal to full, but I don't see the need, so we're gonna go for Endless March for the 2k. And that one unit will survive, but don't tell me. Nope, okay, good. I was about to say it's probably too far for us to reach, but it doesn't look like it. We also completed a mission for the Drakenhof Conclave. And I just wanted to double check whether a new mission would pop up immediately, but it doesn't look like it's immediate. Alright, fair enough. Jock, you can now move on to kill this army out for good, which will hopefully give you another 50 canopic jars. Which is what we wanted here. There we go, that worked out. If you have movement range, definitely leave one enemy alive. Let's go back to Qatar, where you can start in our own territory and thus increase your movement speed via the various movement speed increases. Alright, and we do have money flowing again. If we only have a few more sources of money flow, we could start on the Fleet Port of Terror, or the Pyramid of King Amenemhetem. Tradable resources produced +5 faction-wide. It's not a bad pyramid. Really, it's the hero capacity +1 on all heroes that we need, but basically everything, and that these things offer is quite useful. The Black Pyramid of Nagash is a ways away. Khemri is in 4 turns as well, which does have its own pyramid, and that offers us experience for faction 1. This pyramid seems worse, funnily enough. And then there is another pyramid in Numos, right? Let's just double check what the Numos pyramid does. It gives us casualty or punishment rate +4% for all armies faction-wide, and and growth all provinces. And what does the Blessing of the Scarab do, the technology, just out of curiosity? It gives us attrition reduction, further casualty or punishment, at least for vampiric units. The actual attack isn't that great, but the pyramid seems quite nice. Of course, we need to upgrade Numos before we can get to that, but yeah, I'm gonna give that some thought. We could just upgrade the Xandri thing right now. We could also do the pyramid at the same time. All right, you know what? Let's keep a hold of the money that we currently have, and we'll see how much we can get out of attacking the floating village next turn, or next turn. The rest of this is okay as it is. I think I was hoping that we could perhaps collect income, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. Not while the Coronate corruption is so high, and not while we're being rated for a -10 public order per turn. You're gonna switch back and you're fine, and I believe with that we're ready to once more end the turn. I've actually been thinking about getting rid of this mortuary house here. We could go for the cavalry building to get more sepulchral stalker capacity. It'll take time to build it, however. And the other option would be to build, or to start building, the Fated Pyramidians. Yeah, the growth is needed, but to be honest, with the 2 ports and the relatively limited Maiju growth provided by these things, plus all the bonuses we're likely to get, I feel like we can hold off on this. It's going to take absolute ages to reach tier 4 anyway. Like, regardless. So we'll get rid of it for now. Alrighty, let's end the turn. Building upgrade available. We'll skip hero not moved. Which hero would not have moved? Now let's head to core. Nah, well, head to core is not supposed to move. I guess he can follow Arkhan along, but you know, outpost upgrade available. We are going to skip that. We need our own money. And now let's end the turn, shall we? Yes. Alrighty, and this turn should complete our pyramid here. And he's gonna run away. You run from Araru, you coward. Alright, well, back to El Kalabad and Sudenburg we go. Ooh. Well, if it isn't the Skaven. Alright, so it looks like we're going to divert King Rakash up north to deal with these guys. Ugh. Oh well. Military alliance, not for 300 money. We're not that cheap. 200 or 2,000 gold at least, please. Not 200, damn it. That was the time to misspeak, of course. Alrighty, looks like no new wars at the very least. That's something. And faction destroyed flame gullets, and construction complete Pyramid of King Far. Now we just need 100 canopic jars to get that technology going, and we want to get it going ASAP because it's a pretty great upgrade. Income increase, and more importantly, control everywhere. We really need that. Alrighty, jogged. Now where do we send you, my friend? Well, the dwarfs are gonna return. In fact, Thorek is right there. I guess we just do the same thing. You're gonna go back into ambush stance, and you're just gonna sit here. If the dwarfs jump back in, you're going to ambush and kill them again. Well, not directly ambush, but you're gonna come out of ambush and get them again. Now, where are you going? Well, you're not gonna take the Black Tower or the Black Pyramid, at least I doubt it. No, the Black Tower could be in danger, but yeah, still I doubt it. You, King Rakash, are moving up north. Well, let's see where these Skaven try to land. Hopefully they don't go for Xandri. That might be an irritant. I don't have... Ooh, and they also have a Warpstorm Doom rocket available as well. Hopefully they can't land at Kofar, not after we spent all that money buffing it up. Ugh. Yeah, man, our coastline is just in such trouble. You are going to return to Al Kalabad, I guess. In March stance? Yeah, in March stance. And King Araru, you are going to get your mage, but it looks like we'll get him next turn. I just want to make sure that we're near enough to Al Kalabad in case these guys decide to suddenly attack it. With both stacks, would they fail or would they succeed? Hard to say. Because we're in March stance. It would have been nice to have the mage there, but oh well. And now you, Araru, keep going through revered stonemasonry. Funnily enough, would have been nice to actually just sit there and recruit stuff, but oh well. Watch this guy come back. Just watch, I swear. We just need to basically bounce around between these two for 4 turns until the place can defend itself, I guess. Alrighty, now, important stuff to do. First of all, we have new hero capacity, and we have a trustworthy necrotech. You're gonna get on the field, and you're going to join King Araru's army, because he has all of these Ushabti. And beautiful. That is, I believe, our 4th trustworthy. Which means all factions should give us a Right, strategic threat they approve. Wait, okay, somebody else.
King Lewin Leon.
Yeah, ruler's tolerance is up to 20. Not so bad. Alrighty, we should also just double check diplomacy while we're here. What do we got? Templehof and the Blue Vipers. We're at war with Templehof, but Vlad is not. They're also not willing to pay us enough for it to be worth our time. Trade agreements, nothing. Musion, no. Arganeth, looks like a no. I'll double check. Quite close to defensive alliance. That would be swell. And yeah, she's weak, but generally speaking, she is liked by Nagorond, so that may come in handy. Looks like we also have missions. Ally missions. Bilefitch and Infectique. Let's go Bilefitch. Let's go... I guess we could do Infectique as well, just to spread out the quests. And lastly, I guess Bilefitch as well. Doubling up on Bilefitch. Infectique is less liked. Alrighty, now, Arkhan, you are poised to attack the floating village, so that's what ye shall do. You're gonna go into Corrupted Dynasty stance, or you're gonna head there. And King Sanoct, you're going to... Okay, yeah, Arkhan, I know, don't worry about it. Attack in a second. You, King Sanoct, are gonna move near Agrul Migdal. I want to see where these orcs are. Oh, hopefully they are not heading towards Gorgazan. Yeah, we're gonna start moving up this way. I would actually prefer not to trespass in Bloody Hands territory. If we can just get a... if we can get an agreement, a military access agreement with them, that would be just swell. I doubt they're gonna go for a defensive alliance, because they must know that we're going to break it eventually, but yeah, we'll have to watch out for that. Alrighty, any money that we need to spend before we attack? Land of Assassins and Coast of Araby, you are first, doesn't look like it. These things are nearly ready, that's on the... I guess we can start building the Quicksand Swamp, unless we want to build the Fated Pyramidion. We do have to build these things, but we also do want Sepulchral Stalkers. Only these things take forever to build, but I guess everything in the Tomb Kings takes forever to build. And the Fated Pyramidion without the refurbished workshop, that's the question as to whether it's worth it. Casualty or punishment rate by itself, income from all buildings plus 0.6, relatively minor considering our building income is also relatively minor right now. You know, I think with just the one by itself, it just feels not worth it. Let's go for the Quicksand Swamp instead. Next up is Xandri. We do want to upgrade you, but I think we'll hold off in favor of Pyramid. And Qatar, we also do want to upgrade the Ushabti, the statue here, but I think we can't do so right now. Alrighty, well, that looks good to me. Arkhan, let's level up your boys, and then let's attack. Let's see, Desert Strike is what we're headed towards, and that has not changed, which means let's go for extra HP or armor. Yeah, you gotta go for armor. Gotta go for armor. Next up, Hatmus. You are going for increased mobility. Max that out, and let's get you Indomitable. Well, the rest of this is relatively useless for this particular army, at least for now. Alrighty, last hurrah for the Exiles of Khorne. A Pyrrhic victory, apparently, but we shall see about that. Really, it's the towers that are going to be concerning. Fortunately, the enemy doesn't have as many bloodletters as it did before, so eventually our ghostly units will become useful. Yes, indeed, Arkhan. Yes, indeed. Alrighty, here we go. The last stand of the Exiles of Khorne. Ooh, yeah, we're in a nice little hidden settlement, I guess, in this crater. Oh wow, there's some lovely views. Yeah, I guess this is a buried dwarf hold, or a dwarf hold in the Badlands, or maybe not even a hold, just a fortified mine. As there's the Badlands are full of mines, not really holds so much. 'Twas the mines that really got overrun, like Ekrond and stuff. But anyway, I digress. This game is it's just quite beautiful sometimes. You gotta enjoy it where you can. Anyway, let's get back to it. What do we got? The enemy is going to be fought in primarily melee. We're moving up immediately. We're not going to waste our time with bombardment as we usually do, though we will try to knock the towers out over time with our Casket of Souls. Arkhan is going to straight move into the enemy, and he's going to be followed by all those Tomb Guard and his heroes at the same time. Looks like the towers are focusing on our summoned zombies and skeletons, which works just fine for us. The Tomb Prince is in as well, together with the White King, and they're going to try to focus down this Chaos Spawn. And this is going to be one of those simple battles where we just win by virtue of numbers in melee. And of course we do want our units to suffer enough casualties so we can summon Ushabti relatively early, and they can start ripping the enemy apart by hitting them in the back. Ah, look at all those zombies. And you gotta love how Arkhan floats overhead with his chariot. Though I always find it strange how enemy units can actually hold Arkhan back, because he's on a flying chariot. He should just be able to lift up. He's actually taller. The chariot flies higher than most units, so technically infantry shouldn't block him at all. It would be interesting if you gave him like an ethereal trait. I wonder how that would work. I mean, not ethereal as in physical resistance, but the ability to pass through units and stuff. Honestly, he already has that. I don't know, but he definitely gets blocked and trapped sometimes. Anyway, there we go. The first of the Chaos Spawn lies dead and broken. And unlike actual demons, the Chaos Spawn did once live. And now we're gonna get to work on the second one. There we go. Chaos Spawn's going to activate its little explosion ability, knocking back some Tomb Guard, but primarily damaging the zombies, which we don't care as much about. Ooh, I like how the glow of the Exalted Bloodletter's swords lights them up. Makes them a lot more visible. And there we are, the Ushabti have been summoned right into the back of the enemy formation, and zombies summoned with them at the same time to act as their meat shield and to annoy the enemy further. Looks like the enemy is in pretty dire straits here. The tower is going to go down shortly, at least I hope. And though even with all of these towers firing on us, it's not looking like too much of a problem. Our hat wraiths have also looped around and have charged these Chaos Warriors of Khorne in the back, but of course they do no magical damage, the Chaos Warriors I mean, and thus shouldn't be a concern for the hat wraiths. We also have our Syrian's Legion of the Underworld and two of our units of Crypt Ghouls moving around with the hopes of capturing this minor supply location and destroying this tower rather than bothering to knock it down with our Casket of Souls. Don't want our Casket of Souls firing into the middle of the blob since we've committed our Tomb Guard and such to it. There's the Kepra's Guard fighting as well, rather. I gotta love the Tomb Guard's masks. Mask and hat is a good combo. Man, I love all these projectiles just dropping from the sky. Our own balefire-looking soul projectiles, and then their fiery, I don't know what to call these. I think these are supposed to be cannon towers, but the way they fire makes them look more like a lobbed fireball. And there we go, and looks like we're healing once again from another level of Realm of Souls. I guess this thing just keeps going round and round with casualties. I'm not entirely sure whether it actually works or not, or whether it's just the effect after the first time has been reached. But I assume that it does keep going round. It's just that we can't summon Ushabti again. Which would be nice, but would also be kind of obnoxious. Could be kind of actually a neat upgrade for the Tomb Kings to have as part of the end of their technology tree. Or maybe a lord that's specifically focused on Ushabti that could summon them multiple times by the Realm of Souls, which would incentivize having more infantry in the late game rather than just piles and piles of constructs with less infantry. Anyway, the hat rates have gone through those enemy Chaos Warriors that they were fighting here and are now charging into the back of those enemies, pressed to the Tomb Guard as the Anvil. The Ushabti are still fighting, still wrecking face. They've got 100 kills to their name and 24k damage, nearly 25. For a summoned unit, that is damn solid. They're certainly doing their work. Ooh, that's not so good. It looks like the tower goes down, and immediately our Casket of Souls switches targets to one of our own, or into the middle of the blob, which hits our own units. Looks like that second spawn of Khorne, not the last, I believe, spawn of Khorne, because there is another one fighting out here, is just about to die, and in fact, all the enemy units that are guarding the gate are pretty much broken. We have managed to capture the supply location, so this tower is done as well, and now the Crypt Ghouls are just fighting the Exalted Bloodletters, the Blood Shrine, and the Spawn of Khorne. This is not a good place to be, so we're gonna get them out shortly. Just gonna block the enemies here with Arkhan's zombie summons, and then send the Assyrians Legion up here, where the Chaos Warriors still fight, rather than having to fight all of the magical damage Bloodletters and Blood Shrine down here. I was a little bit worried about those guys. We're also going to send the Hat Race up here to capture this Tier 4 tower, just to get it to stop firing, as at this point I'm a little bit concerned about our ghouls. Anyway, looks like the battle will be ending here, so ghouls, you keep on working, or at least one of you keep on working while the other tries to escape. And not the time to lose units when the faction is dead, that's for sure. And not the good kind of dead. Alrighty, our White King is now in and can start working on that Blood Shrine. Gotta love the little corn gate on top of the thing. Is it just for decoration, or is this a mini Chaos Gate? Can anything corn summons be small enough to get through that gate? Maybe Furies and Flesh Hounds. Though Flesh Hounds are actually surprisingly big. They're like small horses. Alrighty, and there we go. We got more skeleton summons from Arkhan, just to once again protect our ghouls, who are now going to withdraw from the fight. The Assyrians Legion, let's watch them get in a few more hits, but the battle is just about over here. Arkhan riding through as well. Now, you gotta love it when the ghost units can fight enemy units that don't do magical damage. And just gotta be careful with getting rock, paper, scissors and hit by the enemy bloodletters there. And this must be so fighting ghosts must be so frustrating for the warriors of Khorne, you gotta admit. No skulls, no blood, and all that physical resistance. If this was a loreful battle as opposed to a game battle, their weapons would just be passing through the ghostly units anyway, and it would be completely useless, as in the lore, ethereal units can't even be hurt with regular weapons and magical weapons only. Though that would make them way overpowered in the game, so that does make sense to keep them as they are for balance reasons. Anyway, the last of the Chaos Spawn, unbreakable of course, but goes down to Arkhan, his White King, and the Tomb Prince. And with that, I do believe the battle is over, and the last time we will be fighting the Exiles of Khorne. Lovely. Too bad we didn't see Skarbrand again. I would have loved to have fought him again, though defending here, he would have made a much bigger problem for us than on the field, because if we were attacking like we did here with our massive blob of units, the Tomb Guard in, this would have definitely worked in Skarbrand's favor, as he could have gotten more kills, dealt out more damage, and caused a lot more units to rampage. On the other hand, we already have the defeat trait for Skarbrand on Arkhan, as he has defeated him, so there really was no purpose in waiting to defeat him again. Alright, nice little battle. Arkhan did pretty well for himself, and more importantly, our damage was roughly evenly spread among our forces. Didn't get a lot of value out of the direwolves, but I didn't feel like it was a good idea to commit them in this particular situation. And the fact that our damage is evenly spread means that they will heal up just fine. A little bit tempting to sack, but no, we'll occupy it. And we got a Talisman of Endurance for that. Very nice, very nice. And you can turn off that stance so that we can go back up to 5.2k. And oh, well, if it isn't Ogak up here, he's moving up north, eh? Interesting, interesting. So that should have been the last territory belonging to the Exiles of Khorne. Most likely they will... Are we attrition-y here? We are not. Okay, so we can move out of Floating Village. And oh, wow, we got a wall. And that's swell. In fact, we should destroy this before trading it to these guys. I don't know how much it's worth to them right now. This is called Floating Village. It's worth 17. Nothing crazy, but they'd be willing to pay us 7k for it, at the very least. Plus, they'll really like it. A little bit unfortunate that they won't give us military access for that, but, well, what can you do, I guess. Arkhan, yeah, just stay there and channel a little bit to max out your mana once more. Let's delete to the wall here, so that we can recoup some of our money. Although I wonder, by deleting it... The problem is, by deleting it, it'll be worth less, won't it? As in the entire settlement. I wonder how much less. You know what? They're willing to offer us 7k right now. Let's see how much they're willing to offer us without the wall. And just out of curiosity. We get 1,000 gold for this. If it's more than 1,000 gold less by comparison, then it's a bad deal for us. Or, well, too late because we're not going to rebuild that. But nonetheless, we shall see, but we'll have to see next time because alas, once again, we are out of time. I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, Exiles of Khorne will be destroyed for good. And more importantly than that, we will probably fight some Skaven, which we haven't gotten to do a lot of. King Rakash may be able to enjoy his black coaches as well as his Karen Wraiths and Crypt Horrors for the first time as well. But otherwise, once those guys are dead, we'll be transferring half of the stuff to Arkhan and, well, really all around to various forces, which should make them all considerably stronger and a little bit more likely to be viable by themselves without having to rely on Arkhan to take out the major threats. Anyway, stay tuned for more Arkhan. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the Hatgorithm. And thanks for watching.